If your dermatologist just recommended that you have Mohs surgery for a skin cancer, you might be feeling very anxious right now. I know I certainly felt that way when I was diagnosed with basal cell carcinoma on my face. And as a nurse, nurses make terrible patients, and I am very guilty of this in waiting for about a year and a half before I finally got the spot on my face checked. And so I was very concerned that the skin cancer had burrowed very deep and that I was not going to have a positive outcome. Today, I want to walk you through what Mohs surgery is, why your dermatologist probably recommended it for you, the recovery, my personal experience with it, and how the process went. I'm going to throw pictures in throughout this video, so just be aware there will be blood and wounds. And just a quick reminder, even though I am a registered nurse, this is my experience and for education purposes only. I'm not a dermatologist, and your experience could vary from mine. Hello and welcome to my channel. My name is Jamie, and this is Jamie in January, and I make videos on everything that us midlife people are worried about and how we can have our best life. If you're interested in that, I would love it if you would subscribe, but let's get into Mohs surgery. So what exactly is Mohs surgery? Well, first of all, it's not an acronym. Mohs is the name of the doctor who came up with this surgery in like 1930, Frederick Mohs. And it is a surgical technique where they use a microscope to assess each layer of skin as the surgeon is performing this surgery. And the reason for this is because skin cancers can grow underneath your skin. And rather than taking out a huge area of skin like this to be safe, they take very thin layers around the borders of the visible skin cancer and put it under a microscope and look for the cancer cells. And then they follow the cancer cells as they take layer by layer. This technique will remove all of the cancer cells while removing the least amount of tissue possible, which is very good when you're talking about sensitive small areas on your ears, your nose, your face, your eyes, your lips, your hands, anywhere that is a functionally important area. So why did my dermatologist recommend Mohs surgery for me? Well, my skin cancer spot was right here. And I'll show you a picture of it before I had the appointment. So that is the little area right there. As you can see, it is pretty much not noticeable at all. And if you Google skin cancer, usually the lesion is extremely noticeable, right? It's like a mole that changes shape or a big dark area or an open wound. And this spot on my nose was like nothing. The only thing that I can say, and why I kind of knew I needed to make an appointment to have it checked, was because when I would wash my face at night, it was flaky right here. And sometimes it would bleed a little bit. I don't even know how to explain it. It was like flaky. It was like a dry skin patch. And so it would get irritated, I guess, when I would wash my face. And I did know, I was like, okay, this spot is not healing. I probably need to go and get it checked. And then as life would have it, I made an appointment and then something came up and I had to miss it. And then my insurance wouldn't cover a certain dermatologist. So I kept missing my opportunity to get it checked. So by the time I finally did go to the dermatologist, I had noticed that spot for at least a year and a half. It was actually really embarrassing, since I am a registered nurse, that I had let it go so long. And when I sat in the dermatologist's chair, she had her light and her magnifying glass. And the minute she looked at it, she's like, oh, yep, that's cancer. They still had to biopsy the spot and send it to get confirmation. But she knew right away, and I felt scared that, number one, I had been diagnosed with skin cancer, but number two, that I had let it go so long. I was worried that removal of the skin cancer area was going to be very involved and honestly damage my appearance or leave a really big disfiguring scar on my face, since it was right here. So the doctor biopsied the area and sent me home with a Band-Aid. And then what was interesting was as the biopsy healed, it looked like it was completely better. And I did read in the instructions from the dermatologist that as the lesion heals, it may look better, but that doesn't mean your skin cancer is gone. So you still need to come back for the Mohs procedure. So I was thinking, okay, so I went back for the Mohs procedure about a month later. And when I went and sat in the dermatology office chair, the Mohs surgeon came in and explained the process to me. And then I got all comfortable and relaxed and reclined in the chair. They draped my face and numbed the area. And that was the most uncomfortable part because that initial poke of lidocaine always hurts. If you've ever had that with dental work or anything, you know that initial lidocaine shot hurts a lot. But then the area was very numb and my face was draped, and he took the first slice of tissue and then bandaged me up and let me sit up, took the drape away, and I sat there and read my book. And it was actually quite relaxing and enjoyable considering that my usual life is so busy. Then he came back in, told me that the borders were not clear and we had to do another section. So a little bit deeper and a little bit wider. Then he went back. I had to have another section done. And this time there was a little section at the bottom that you can see in this picture that was taken out. So then he went back and now the borders are clear. So he said, okay, we're going to close it up. But what is interesting about this part is that if you look here, this is what the wound looked like at the end of all of the sections of the Mohs surgery. And then he made the incision so long. And I know now from being a nurse and watching some plastic surgeons that it was so that the scar would be very well approximated. But it was actually a little bit unsettling because once he put the dressing on, as you see here, my nostril was so squished and the sutures were so tight that I was worried that my nose was going to be deformed like that forever. And that made me feel a little self-conscious and a little bit uncomfortable. But after that, I went home. I had to leave that annoying dressing on my face for 24 hours. And then when I woke up the next morning, I did have a little bit of black eyes. And I'll put that picture right here. And my eyes were swollen. So I was not allowed to wash my face for about 4 days. And then I was able to take the dressing off and just apply Aquaphor to the incision. So I could wash it with gentle soap and water and apply an Aquaphor. And I had to keep it covered with a Band-Aid for 7 days. And then I went back to the office and I had the sutures removed. And as you can see here, my nose stayed dented in for a while. So I had this surgery in March and it is now August. So that was 5 months ago. And as you can see, my face looks great. And I also took a video this morning before I put my makeup on so that I could get you like a real raw footage video. So here that is. And you can see that the scar is so well approximated. My nostril is no longer bent and squished. And so the surgery turned out great for me. I was talking with the surgeon during my procedure a little bit, and they were telling me about some skin cancers on the face will tunnel like really far. And so every closure of the wound and procedure length will vary depending on your own situation. But when I was looking up Mohs surgery, every picture I saw online was so devastating that I at least wanted to make a video and show you how well it turned out. If you want to know who my surgeon was and what dermatology office I went to, you can leave a comment and I will send you that information. It's in Southern California. So if you don't live around here, then you might not want to ask me about that. But if Mohs surgery is something that's in your future and you were feeling really nervous about it, I hope this gave you a little bit of peace of mind. You do have to do your research and get a surgeon who specializes in the Mohs procedure specifically, because the Mohs procedure is a very precise way of doing this surgery with the ability to remove all of the cancer cells with as little tissue damage as possible. If you've already had Mohs surgery, please let us know in the comments what your experience was like so that we can all learn from each other. And I thank you for watching. I'll see you in the next video.